Hey guys, John here, the Practical Tactical Minimalist, and today we are going to talk about using a revolver for your one and only handgun. Alright, so this is a Smith & Wesson J-frame. It is a 642 and it is a performance center, so it has a much nicer tuned up trigger. Keep that in mind while I talk about the gun. As a one gun, revolvers have been a lot of people's only gun for the history of America. So you have that like nice little heritage thing going on here. There's something really classic about wheel guns, and even non-gun people tend to think these are just neat. Whether it's from Hollywood or video games or detective novels or you know what I mean, these are just cool. I remember I was watching recently, like a year or two ago, I was watching The Irishman, and Robert De Niro was picking out his guns for an assassination or something, and he had a revolver, and it's just like, dude, that's such a cool gun. Like, there's just something about that. Second kind of cool, if you only have one gun, it should be a gun that really just is cool to you. So revolvers definitely have that going for them. Another thing they have going for them is they're very simple to operate. Very easy to load, very easy to unload, very easy to show clear. And then the operating system is point, click. Very, very easy. I have heard it said that revolvers handle neglect a lot better than autos, and autos handle abuse a lot better. So this revolver probably won't be a super high round count shooter for you. In addition to a con coming up, you probably won't want to shoot that much through this, but it will handle neglect very well. If you're just going to buy one handgun, throw it in your safe or your sock drawer, depending on your state's storage laws. Maybe throw it in a purse, a pocket. A revolver will handle that kind of stuff a lot better than a similarly sized, similarly priced auto. Also, revolvers have a significantly lower entry-level cost of support gear. Holsters, ready, plentiful, cheap. This is a DeSantis Slim Tuck. It is made out of some Kydex or Boltron or thermal, maybe it's injection molded. It's made out of some plastic. This thing will last longer than our bodies will. Very easy to carry. Pretty much every company has a leather holster or a nylon holster that will fit J-frames. It's one of the most popular carry sizes, shapes. So the holsters are going to be cheap. Where if you get a non-name brand semi-automatic, it might be difficult to find high-quality holsters. Another thing that is cheap is ammunition storage. So this is a speed strip. We also have speed loaders. They're very affordable compared to similarly priced magazines. The only place that becomes not true anymore is moon clips. This gun is cut for moon clips. The only ones I have are the factory ones, and those aren't too bad. I think it's about $20 for 3. But if you start getting into custom moon clips like TK Custom and stuff, those things are a fortune. They're an investment. But other than moon clips, the cost of support gear is very, very low. Revolvers also, because of their organic curved design, are extraordinarily easy to carry and conceal, which is very important in the modern world. Regular automatics have very angle, boxy looks that because of movies and video games and life of current events, they're very easy to pick out when they're printing. Nothing on your waistline should be a 90-degree angle pointing out of your shirt, poking out of your shirt. Where these revolvers, even though they tend to be slightly bigger than similar size like 380s, they conceal so much easier and better. And these air weights are very light. This one is about 14 ounces. Completely loaded, it's about a pound. So that's a lot of positives. What are the downsides? The downsides are, while this will handle neglect very well and it's very unlikely to malfunction, if you do have a malfunction, like a light primer strike, you just pull the trigger again, right? Very easy. There's no tap racks. There's no, malfunction drills. You just keep pulling the trigger. That is very convenient. However, when something in this does break, it is catastrophic. You have to pull off this plate. It's like a little Swiss watch in there. For gun people, you can watch a few YouTube tutorials or go on Full 30 or something. It's not that complicated. But for a non-gun person, someone who just wants self-defense in their own hands, this gets complicated fast. Also, for someone who is a novice, this gun is extraordinarily unpleasant to shoot. It's only about 14 ounces. The 38 Special is quite punishing in plus P at this weight, and you don't have much to hold on to. And unlike a semi-automatic where you have the slide recoiling to dissipate some of that, as well as polymer grips and frames to help flex and absorb some of that, this is coming straight back into your palm. So you're not going to be shooting more than a box of this probably out of a lightweight airframe. Also, the trigger tends to be very heavy. Now, this is a performance center. This one is not bad. I would say it's probably about 8 pounds. However, you have a gun that weighs less than 1 pound that you're trying to hold steady while you pull 8 pounds. That is quite a feat. It takes a long time to get good with this, and I am a fairly proficient shooter. For a newbie, this is going to be very unpleasant, punishing to shoot, and then difficult to shoot. In addition to, the sights are very rudimentary. And you really have to find a loading that hits point of aim. The reason I am carrying these is because since the ammunition shortage, these are SIG hollow points, plus P 38 Special. These actually hit point of aim. No other ammo I have currently hits point of aim. That's fine for the range, and especially if you know the ammo you're shooting, you can Kentucky windage it. It's totally fine. However, for carry and self-defense, I want to know my bullet is hitting where the sights line up. These sights are very hard to line up, especially in suboptimal lighting. This is a very difficult gun to use. Now, that might sound like a lot of negatives. Here's why I'm not saying it is a lot of negatives. It's just negatives to keep in mind. The chances of you actually having to use your firearm are extraordinarily low. So just keep that in mind. The chance of you actually having to pull this out of a holster, present it, is low. And then after that, actually having to shoot it is even lower than that. So, I mean, cost benefit. I personally love this gun because it's very fun for me to learn a new manual of arms. However, I don't feel as comfortable carrying this as I do a P320 or a P365 or a Glock 42 or a Glock 43X, or you know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel as confident in this. Granted, I've carried this for months and months, and I've never needed to use it. Cost benefit, right? As your only gun, it could be awesome. It really could. It handles neglect well, and if this is going to be your only gun, you probably aren't going to be a gun person, because guns are like tattoos. After you get your first one, if you like them, you're already planning your next one. So, Project One gun, this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed it. The one downside, it handled 1,000 rounds perfectly fine. I had a few light primer strikes, no big deal, especially with the current ammo situation. The finish is not holding up super great, but if this was going to be your only gun, I think you could do a lot worse. 38 Special has been proven over a century as a fight stopper. We don't have to arrest anyone. We don't have to stay in the threat. Your frame of mind for your concealed carry handgun should be getting out of the situation. It is a deadly force situation. You're getting out. 5 rounds of 38, I think, is plenty to dissuade someone, but it might not be for you. Again, this is all personal preference. You have to do your own risk analysis. I don't make gun recommendations on this page. I just say what I like and what has worked for me. This gun, I do not feel undergunned. I very much enjoy it. The one downside for Project One gun is I am a big proponent of taking firearm training classes and then supplementing firearm training classes under the direct supervision of a competent instructor by following up with dry fire practice and going to the range to practice, right? Practice is different than training. This gun is very unpleasant to practice with, and in the over 2 years I've had this gun as a staple of my everyday carry, I have yet to find a local class dedicated to snub-nosed revolvers or wheel guns of any type. That is something to keep in mind. It is very difficult to find proper instruction on revolvers. So, if you're expecting to get really competent instruction on whatever gun you choose as your only gun, this might not make the cut just because this knowledge is dying out. There's plenty of instructors nationwide online, like Chuck Haggard and Daryl Bulkey, and there's great instructors out there for wheel guns, but you have to drive significant distances. It is a huge financial investment, and if you're just getting one gun, you probably don't want to dedicate $2,000 or $3,000 to getting a really good weekend class 5 states away. Just some things to keep in mind. This gun has been awesome for 1,000 rounds. I very much enjoy wheel guns, and I highly suspect there will be more wheel guns in my future. I'd be curious in the comments, do any of you guys carry wheel guns? And what's your favorite brand? I got this one specifically because I like the classic look, and I liked that it didn't have an internal lock. However, I have really been smitten with LCR recently. So the 327 Federal Magnum LCRs are really calling to me. So put down below what you guys carry and what you guys think is the optimal concealed carry revolver for the average person. This has been John, the Practical Tactical Minimalist. Be safe out there.